Hey there, welcome back to my channel, and let's get right into it. This year, like every year, there's always a discussion on whether a candidate going to a Service Academy nomination interview should wear their uniform or not. Typically, those candidates are members of the Civil Air Patrol. They go to a military high school or maybe even a military junior college, or they're in some junior ROTC unit. There's always a discussion on the positives and negatives of wearing a uniform. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to give you my 3 reasons on why you should and my 3 reasons why you shouldn't wear a uniform to a Service Academy nomination interview. If you're pro-uniform, just skip ahead. I'll put a marker there. You'll be able to find it easy. But let's get into the reasons on why maybe you should wear your uniform to a Service Academy nomination interview. Reason number 1, a uniform will look always better than a suit. If the uniform is crisp and clean and worn properly, it will look 100 times better than a suit. But you have to make sure that it is clean, the blouse is clean, the tunic is clean, your cover is clean, everything is perfectly in order, and it looks crisp and clean, just like you stepped out of the cover of the admissions manual for your school. Number 2, it will give validity for your ambition to go to a Service Academy. Without even saying anything, it will state that you have already given up some of your regular life, quote-unquote regular life, to go to a military high school or a military junior college, and that you are properly prepared and understand what you're getting into. So that validity, without even saying anything when you walk in the door, is a plus. Number 3, it's a good conversation starter. It will spur questions about your current school. It will spur questions about what you're doing. It will spur questions about what you want to do. And it might even spur questions about some of the awards that you have and what you did to earn them and how that would apply to a Service Academy. So, 1, it's always better than a suit. Number 2, it gives validity to what you want to do in the future. And 3, it's a great conversation starter. So now, the 3 reasons why you shouldn't. The 3 reasons why you shouldn't wear a uniform to a Service Academy interview. Number 1, sometimes wearing a uniform will make you appear rigid. And I know from experience, from doing this for a very long time, that those students who show up in a uniform from Civil Air Patrol or their military high school or the military college know that wearing a uniform is a responsibility. And they will be in their full military bearing, in their full dress uniform. And sometimes it comes across as pretty stiff, unyielding, and sometimes it makes for a difficult interview. So if you can be relaxed in your uniform, then do it. But if the uniform, if you feel that you have to live up to that uniform and that you have to be on your best military bearing, then maybe you should think twice about wearing that uniform. Number 2 on why you shouldn't wear your uniform. If your uniform is not 100% perfect, if every ribbon bar is not perfectly aligned, if the spacing on the ribbons are not perfect, if the ribbons are down a little bit on one side, or your collar devices are not perfectly symmetrical, or your blouse is dirty, or your cover has a spot on it, it will stick out like a sore thumb, especially if there's any Marines on the panel. I have been on interview panels where there has been a Marine, and a Marine will go right away to a ribbon rack that is not right. They could care less about the ribbons are for, but if the ribbon rack is not 100% level and the spacing is not right, they will just zoom in on that. And if you wear collar devices and if they're not perfectly symmetrical on each side, that's a no-no. So if you can't have a uniform that is perfect, where you take the little ruler and you measure everything and everything's perfect, don't wear the uniform, because some prior service guy will jump all over it and it will be a negative. He will ask you, I see that your uniform is sloppy. How are you going to handle going to XYZ Academy with the sloppy type of attitude towards wearing a uniform? Yeah, you'll get that question, and that's not a good question. And finally, number 3, some uniforms from military high schools and junior colleges are truly over the top. You're going to end up looking like these guys. And you know, they are a admirable foe, but everybody sees those guys and they laugh. If your uniform has every augulate in the catalog and you have every ribbon possible and you're wearing medals on both sides of your chest and you have, you know, garish collar devices, you will look like one of these guys, and you really don't want to do that. You know, it's something said that for simplicity, and if you look at this guy here, you know, he was a general of the Army, and he was a pretty simple guy. And you look at his uniform, yes, I know it's from the middle of the last century, but look at his uniform and look at these guys' uniform. And one makes you laugh and one makes you take the guy for serious. So if you have a uniform that is overly decorated with awards, you might want to think twice about wearing it. Or you might want to think about wearing one of the classes below that uniform, where it's just your trousers, a blouse, a name tag, collar devices, and a cover. You might want to consider that. So where do I stand on wearing a uniform? I really don't care, but I really kind of side with not wearing it for the number one reason, that sometimes the candidates are rigid, and the number 3 reason, sometimes they look ridiculous in a uniform and they look like one of these clowns over here. So you make your own decision whether to wear a uniform or not. I wish you the best of luck. I hope you get what you want, and good luck on your interview. Bye now.